Are the Falcons sending a message about their future quarterback plans with Kyle Pitts' new deal?
You are Locked On Falcons, your daily Atlanta Falcons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everyone, to another illustrious episode of the Locked On Falcons podcast, your daily Atlanta Falcons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, celebrating 10 years of now being the number one sports podcast network. And I am your humble host, Aaron Freeman, a.k.a. Mr. A.K.A., and I am joined today by Jarvis Davis, Locked On Georgia Tech, as well as Locked On Sports Atlanta. And on today's episode of Locked On Falcons, I want to tell you that it is brought to you by Odoo. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try it for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. So on today's episode, we are getting Jarvis Davis's reaction to Kyle Pitts getting paid. But the bulk of today's episode, we will be talking about what does this mean for the Falcons' plans at quarterback. With all these skill players now getting paid, does that mean that the Falcons can't afford to re-sign Tua Tagovailoa if he has a successful year? Can the Falcons, are they forced to have to go with a quarterback on a cheap rookie contract? Is that Michael Penix, or is that somebody else that has yet to join the team, or is it everybody's favorite undrafted free agent Jack Strand? We'll find out on today's episode. So Jarvis, Kyle Pitts, third highest paid tight end in the NFL. Drake London, third highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. We think Bijan's probably going to be the highest paid running back in the NFL, but we can say with high degree of confidence that when he does get his extension, he will be one of the three highest paid running backs in the NFL. It's going to be him, Saquon, and Jahmyr Gibbs in some order, right?
Yep.
So top three skill players at the position. But the Falcons don't have a quarterback. And it does feel like, and I've seen a lot of sentiment from my listeners as well as others, and I'm curious what you think about this, Jarvis, with all this money locked into the skill players, does that mean that the Falcons are pushing towards having a cheaper quarterback, which is potentially somebody on a rookie contract, somebody like Michael Penix, who's currently on the roster, or potentially a quarterback to be named later in this upcoming 2027 draft class that is at this point getting a lot of hype? We'll see how it ages as we get closer to the draft in 10 months or whatever. But do you feel like this move of locking in Kyle Pitts sort of signals some sort of plan or vision for the Falcons at the quarterback position?
I think that, so I'm kind of torn, to be honest with you, Free, because I feel like some people get so fascinated with having a quarterback versus not having a quarterback that they forget they still have to continue to build a team. And sometimes you just can't help the way things fall, right? You can't help that Drake was going into last year's contract and Kyle Pitts was going to be going into a last year on a 1-year deal on a franchise tag. Like, you can't help that. And you got to start having conversations about signing the best running back in the league, all within this a year and a half time frame, right? So, like, you can't help that. So you have to make decisions. So I think that being that all these things are happening at once, you have to make decisions that is going to make your team better. And most of the time, you don't get better by letting really good football players walk out that door. That's just the facts of the case.
Yeah.
So, but on the other hand, I feel like once you get that money on your books, there's this little person in the back of your little eggnog back there. It's called job security.
Mm-hmm.
Sense of urgency. That little spot gets a little bigger. It starts growing when you start eating up that salary cap with skill guys, right? Because Cincinnati got the highest paid combination wide receiver that we've probably ever seen. And they ain't nowhere near. And they got a quarterback and they ain't nowhere near no doggone Super Bowl. You know why? Because they let Jesse Bates walk for whatever reason. And that defense has been cheeks ever since. Right. So I think that you have to find a balance and you have to hope. If you're Ian Cunningham, if you're Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Reese, all these guys, you hope that Michael Penix Jr. is your quarterback. And the reason why I say that is because there is a way that when he's going into his third year as a quarterback, you got your fourth year, you got the fifth year option, and you got 2 franchise tags. That's 4 more years of control, dude. If Michael Penix shows you that he can be your guy, that's going to work out favorably for your salary cap. However, let's just say Tua balls out. And that could happen. That's possible, right? He's done it before in the NFL. If he balls out, you talking about that man immediately being a free agent, and the starting price is probably going to be $40 million. Starting. Because Sam Darnold is what, at 33, 34 is, 34 million, whatever. Like, Tua said, hey, you guys need me. So we starting at 40. And then we'll work it out from there. So, yeah, man, like these moves, these signings, it doesn't put you in a bad spot, but it does grow that sense of urgency. It does grow that, hey, man, my job is getting closer to being on the line. And we saw how that turned out for Terry Fontenot.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing to me, Jarvis, because it does feel like you don't, it's not to say that they had this flexibility before paying Kyle Pitts, but it does feel like now you kind of have to have your guy. When we get to week 1 of the 2027 season, you need to have your quarterback figured out. So who will it be? All signs point to a cheap quarterback on a rookie contract, but what happens if Tua balls out? Do they pay him, and can they afford him and still load up on offense? And is a loaded offense the winning formula for this Falcons team? We'll break it down next on today's Locked On Falcons. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. And that's where Odoo comes in, the all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales to accounting to inventory, marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing your business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent, it's about having everyone working towards the same goal. And that's true in sports, just like it is in business. And the Falcons are working towards the goal of finally getting over that hump and breaking their 8-year playoff drought. And if it works for the Falcons, it can work for you. All you got to do is think of Odoo as that unifying force that's going to get your business over the hump. Great organizations win because operations matter. And that's why you should check out Odoo. Try it for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. So before we continue today's Locked On Falcons, I want to let you guys know about the Everydayer Club. If you want an ad-free, interruption-free experience of the illustrious Locked On Falcons podcast, you can join the Everydayer Club. Get that as well as other perks at the link in the description below. Start your 7-day free trial at lockedonfalcons.supercast.com. Now, that was already where they were.
Sure.
But it was one of those situations where it's like, if we're finishing the 2027 season and we are looking at this team and you're like, well, you still don't know what your quarterback situation is. You're going into the 3rd year of this regime. And again, I'm operating on the assumption that if the Falcons quarterback situation is not resolved, it means they're not winning enough games to secure everybody's job, right?
Sure.
Um, it just feels like the Falcons kind of doubling down on this strategy that they have been had, where it's like we've figured out the skill guys. We have Bijan, we have Drake, we have Kyle. That's our foundation. We've added Zachariah Branch. We believe in Jahan Dotson, right? We got this figured out. We might throw a couple other draft picks here or there to supplement that room, but it's rock solid. This offense is ready to go. All we need to do is get the quarterback situation right. And I'm just curious with Tua in particular, right? Operating on a cheap deal. You mentioned sort of with that price range, you're saying, Sam Darnold money. I'm like, Daniel Jones just got $46 million. If I'm Tua's agent, I'm like, if that guy's getting 46, I need 47,
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's starting at the 4. It started with a 4. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where do we get to a point, hypothetically, let's say Tua does ball out. Tua does get that bag from the Falcons, and the Falcons are, let's keep this train going. We have a very expensive offense. We got a cheap defense because we got a bunch of guys on rookie contracts, with the exception of basically AJ Terrell. Jesse Bates is a free agent, and then does that domino effect? Some of these veterans, Divine Diablo, some of these guys that you potentially have to pay, that sort of thing. We'll push that.
Yeah, push that conversation down the road.
Yeah. But
that can down the road.
You understand where I'm headed with that. But is that the plan? Which is like, we're just going to have a super expensive offense. We've been here with the Atlanta Falcons in the past, with the current precedent of football, where they had a super expensive offense, and they're just going to trust in Jeff Ulbrich to coach up these young guys, and that's going to be the formula, not only to be a perennial playoff team, win the NFC South, but now you're paying all this money. Like, it's not just, hey, just win 9 games and win the NFC South. That's step 1 in that strategy. Now it's, can you go out there and challenge the Rams and the Seahawks and the Eagles and some of these other teams at the top of the NFC? Do you think that's a winning formula as this thing is constructed?
That's a tough one, because when you talk about going down this road, you commit all this money on the opposite side of the football. Like, that means you got to trust your defensive coordinator. I roster with Jeff. I think he can get it done. But he and Cunningham got a hit. Like, Kendall Daniels got a hit. If we talk about that doomsday scenario where Jesse Bates is no longer wearing the Falcons uniform, shoot, you tell me you're going to play Divine Diablo? Shoot, Kendall Daniels better get it done. Because guess what? All that money going to start hitting with Bijan, and, Kyle Pitts is starting right now. If I remember correctly, his contract starts immediately in this year. And then you got Drake. Yeah, man. Like, you almost have to, because here's the thing. Where was the hard decision that you had to make? Because in order to pivot from what you've been doing, there has to be a hard decision. They was like, dang, man, they had to cut such and such, or they had let old boy walk out the door. That's the only way you pivot from the original plan. And the original plan was Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix. And we just talked about the team almost praying that Michael Penix works out. He being a guy so you can have him under control at decent numbers, at least for the next couple of years. Yeah, man. Like, it has to work. Because guess what? If we were talking about pivoting, and God forbid you build a team with an amazing defense and a serviceable quarterback, serviceable running back, serviceable or really good wide receiver. Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about the Seattle Seahawks. My bad. Let me come back. God forbid you do that. And I think that you had the opportunity to at least to try to balance it some and letting Kyle Pitts play under that franchise tag, paying a little $15 million, then we'll just see what happens. If you have a really good year, we'll engage. We'll engage, but you'll be on the free market. So you have all the incentive in the world to ball out. And you figure out like, man, I don't really want to go nowhere. This team might be offering me $2 more million annually. I want to stay here. I like what we're doing here. That's the hard decision that they chose not to make. So this whole expensive offense and trusting in your coaching and your general manager on the defense, they're gonna have to work. They ain't got no choice.
Yeah. Oh, and Matthew Bergeron also up for a contract too, man.
What if he has a Pro Bowl year?
I mean, I just saw Joe Tippmann from his draft class get $16 million. So
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Dog, this is getting expensive.
It is.
And guess what? You're gonna have to use some draft capital to draft a tackle. Because your projected starter at right tackle is on a 1-year deal, and your starter on left tackle is 45 years old.
Yeah. So that gets us to the question for me, Jarvis. Do you trust this coaching staff to make all of this work? And we'll talk about that as we wrap up today's Locked On Falcons. Support for today's episode comes from Square, the business platform that's going to help sellers become neighborhood favorites, like my local coffee shop that I stop in every now and then to get myself a chai latte if I'm, trying to lower my caffeine intake, or, just get that cold brew when I'm ready to get back on that caffeine bandwagon. And they use Square. It makes checkout fast, painless. And if it's convenient for me, the customer, it's convenient for them, the business, because Square keeps businesses running smoothly, from payments to online orders, inventory, staff, and so much more. It's all in one place so that business can focus on customers like me and not their to-do list. Square helps businesses simplify the day-to-day while still giving them room to grow. And right now, listeners can get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/lockedonnfl. That's SQUARE.com/GO/lockedonnfl. Get started with Square and build a setup that works the way you do. I have a pretty, I want to put words in your mouth, Jarvis, but I'm guessing you are similar to me, that you have a lot of confidence, a lot of optimism when it comes to Jeff Ulbrich on the defensive side of the ball, being able to coach up the defense.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. And we got a solid proof of concept.
I'm a brick advocate.
Yeah. Yes. We got a solid proof of concept in 2025 coaching up that defense. Right. I remember being like, defense will be better, but it's still going to be like a middling, below average defense or whatever. And then, 5 weeks into the season, I'm like, this is the best defense in the league. I'm like, oh, yeah. I apologize. I was not familiar with your game. I'm sorry, sir.
Very confident. So, yes.
But the question remains, Jarvis. As good as this defense was last year, offense was a major disappointment.
Yes, big time.
And it led to heads rolling, so to speak. You can argue, right? That's a big reason why lots of people got fired. And the one coach that did his job last year, Jeff Ulbrich, still here, along with a lot of his assistants. Right? You got a brand new offensive coaching staff. A lot of people with a lot of pedigree. Kevin Stefanski took the Browns to the playoffs twice, 6 years. Something I don't think a Browns coach has done since Marty Schottenheimer in the late 80s or something like that.
Long time ago.
Yep. You got Tommy Rees, handpicked by Nick Saban as the future offensive guru of state of Alabama. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, Jarvis.
You know what happened after he was deemed that?
It doesn't matter.
Relegated to the NFL?
Yeah. Bill Callahan, legendary offensive line coach.
Yes.
Alex Van Pelt, Pitt legend.
Yeah.
Coached Aaron Rodgers a couple times. I think he won an MVP or something. I don't know.
Yeah. some Aaron Rodgers do.
Yeah.
2 ways.
Yeah. Ron.
Mhm.
A lot of pedigree on this coaching staff.
A lot of it.
You feel good about this offensive coaching staff making it all work for the first time in 4 or 5 years with this same group of players? Because we've been having this conversation now with 2 different coaching staff: Arthur Smith, Raheem Moore, Zach Robinson.
No.
Okay.
No. And this has been my issue with this hire from the get-go. I mean, I've come to grips with it. You know, and we can have a conversation about it. You know, can find some light, but like over from the jump, I wasn't confident because I did not like how that quarterback situation was handled last year. It took him a long time to get to the guy that at least you want to see what he can do, you know, Shadur Sanders. And like Jillian Gabriel was his handpicked guy. He is awful. I'm about to say another word, but I'm not going to bring that word to this podcast.
I'm just saying, you know, there may be a summertime trade of Dylan Gabriel to a certain team. I just, you know, get 3 left-handed quarterbacks on the same team. I don't know.
Like, do you like drama? You just like drama, right?
I do, Jarvis. I do.
you just want all the storylines you could possibly handle in the month of July, bro.
You know, just be interesting. Is at this point with the like I've been begging for them to be good. They refuse to do that. You need you to be
at least be interesting.
Yeah.
But no, man, like I question a lot when it comes to Kevin Stefanski, right? I like the system that he runs. You know, I love guys having that 12 personnel, that extra tight end. I feel it gives me a little bit of safety. Yeah, I think this is one of those instances where either it's going to work or it's going to be a poop show. I don't think it's going to be any in between. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's just my gut, man.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong because think about it. Tanner Instrand, whatever his name is, Alex Van Pelt, Tommy Reese, Kevin Stefanski. You got 4 guys who call plays. 4 guys who call plays. And you don't think that those guys aren't going to question anything when it comes to Tommy Reese? And then Kevin Stefanski had to relinquish play calling duties to this man because it wasn't working with him calling plays as the head coach. Now, when have we seen that work the second time around? Like, please. I know, you know, your knowledge is deep when it comes to this league, dog. Like, you know, when has it worked, man? Like, when you have all these cooks in the kitchen, like, when has that ever worked? I don't know. I don't know when it's worked. So for me, when you say, do I trust this makeup? Do I trust this structure? Mm-mm. But it has to work, though.
It
has to work.
It's one of those things where I could see it working. I can absolutely see it working.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I can see it working out.
But it's just like, I said it on the Falcon Squad show. Like, I've had the last 2 head coaches come in here talking a big game. Arthur Smith came in here 21. Hey, you know, Arthur Smith, do you need a Derrick Henry or an AJ Brown type of player in order to make your offense work? He's like, no, I'm going to adjust my scheme to the players that I have. And then they had to basically tear it down, and we had to bring in the Arthur Smith guys that all had similar skill sets to all the guys he had in Tennessee.
Cordarrelle Patterson.
You know,
I know his name is Cordell.
Like,
Cordarrelle.
You didn't adjust at all. You just basically were like, I need specific types of players to make my offense work. So that didn't work out. Raheem comes in. Hey, I got this hot young phenom, Zach Robinson. He spent the last 5-6 years in the Sean McVay, you know, finishing school of offensive coordinators. You know, look at
together on the back of the bus, and I promise you a job when I got another opportunity.
Look what Zach Taylor did. Look what Kevin O'Connell's doing in Minnesota. Like this, he's the next one. He's the next one.
James, you coming with me too? You know, I'm just that good of a head coach. James, you coming too.
And then we got that Steeler game, Jarvis, and I'll never forget it. I've had people ask me, Aaron, what's the statute of limitations on when you're going to stop bringing up that Steelers game? And I'm like, maybe if they beat the Steelers this year, I might stop referring to it, but that's about it.
Bro, they refused to block TJ Watt.
It's tough. It's real tough.
They didn't assign him a blocker.
I don't want to go back down that road, Jarvis.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, they didn't assign him a blocker. I will never forget that game. So ever.
It's some of the worst coaching I've ever seen in my life.
Dog, I can't wait to hear the rumblings and bumblings of Zach Robinson and his play calling with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Dog, this has the makings of being a beautiful season for Tampa. Beautiful for me as someone who doesn't give two flying flips on a rolling donut about Baker Mayfield and what he can do in this league. Oh my gosh, bro. It's gonna be so beautiful to watch. I can't wait.
So, Jarvis, I say all that to basically say,
yes,
I don't trust coaches at all. But basically at this point in time, unless you're coming off a Super Bowl win, like Mike McDonald, hey, you can talk all the talk you want to talk, okay? Right? Sean McVay, you can talk that talk because you have been, in multiple NFC championship games. We can go down the list of the various coaches that can talk that talk, and I would be like, yes, sir, absolutely, right, sir. I believe everything you say, sir. Right?
Been there, done that. Yeah, let's go. Mm-hmm.
So I sit here and I go, Kevin Stefanski, you got to prove it. And you and this group of guys, basically you saying, hey, ain't nothing wrong with the skill guys. All right.
Okay.
I'm expecting Kyle Pitts' best season yet. Better happen.
Sure, bro.
If we're sitting here in week 4, we've had these conversations, Jarvis, on
man got 8 catches and doggone 1 touchdown.
Like, oh, this should be a Kyle Pitts eat game, right? Because Dallas Goedert just went off for 88 yards against this team last week. So Kyle Pitts should eat, and then you get 2 catches for 13 yards. And I'm just like,
this is the worst team ever against the tight end, and then Kyle Pitts ended up with 1 catch, 2 targets, doggone no touchdown.
I'm just like, 20
yards.
That's the sense of urgency we're talking about. So we'll see if this coaching staff can bridge it together. But the last couple of years in Cleveland do not inspire confidence. Is basically what
number one goal for this coaching staff is to gain Aaron's trust. He don't trust none of y'all mother blankets.
I need to have that Jeff Ulbrich moment where it's like we're going into that Bills game and I'm like, oh, this is the game where let's see what Jeff Ulbrich has to this game. And like, oh, Jeff, I was not familiar with your game. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. So I want that game to happen. I don't know when that game is going to happen. The sooner the better, but we need that game.
The question is, when the last time we've seen a game like that on the offensive side of the football?
It's been a while, Jarvis. Going back through the years. Yeah. It's been a while.
Look, the first thing that came to my mind was 2016. So I'm just like, oh, man.
We have to go that far back? Good grief. Oh, man.
I mean, that was the first thing that came to mind, dog. Yeah. Like, last time a play caller has been in his bag. When last time we seen some really good offense, man? Consistently? That might be a homework assignment right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Leave a comment, ladies and gentlemen. When's the last time you were like, man, such and such was cooking this game as an offensive coordinator, play caller? So
for the Falcons.
For the Falcons.
We're not the one we've seen.
For the opposing offensive coordinator? No, was that Tuesday? That was that last week? Whatever. Last year? 2 years ago? Come on. Oh, man. Jimmy Lake. Shout out to Jimmy Lake.
James.
Out here keeping opposing offensive coordinators employed. All right, guys. There you go.
This is about to be edited.
Yeah,
we good. Yeah.
There you guys go. So that's it. We'll be back next week talking more about whatever's going on with the Falcons. And make sure you don't miss that episode. We got an Avion Terrell film breakdown coming your way next week. I know I've been saying that for like 3 weeks straight, but it is coming next week. So look forward to that. Don't miss that. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is for you. Start your 7-day free trial at the link in the description below at lockedonfalcons.supercast.com. Guys, it is all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.